So, the comment section isn't going the way you planned, and it's just like, you know what? I will take all the attention you can give me. Nom, 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 nom. I guess you've never read a comic book. Wow! Super owned. Oh my god, you got me there. I've never read a comic book. Oh my god, I'm so uncool. I'm so uneducated. Wow, such a big own. Why they didn't call him Stephen or Keith is beyond me. Now, I get this person is trying to insult me somehow, but like, they are like, they're halfway there, you know? You almost made a joke. You definitely never touched a comic book in your life, bruh. Laughing emoji, clown emoji. I mean, yeah, I was too busy touching your mom. Your tism is showing. Oh my god. I think this is the closest we're gonna get to somebody calling me gay. He's a superhero named Superman from a small village of Smallville who moved to a metropolitan city of Metropolis. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? Okay, you got me there. What's up, Jake Paulers? I got a special one for you today. And yes, I'm still, super injured. I'm 3 weeks out of 6 weeks at this point. I finally got my big boy cast. I can't even turn my wrist enough for you to see it, but I can finally get my friends and loved ones to sign my cast like I'm a third grader or something, and it feels good. It does feel good. And yeah, it got a lot of attention. A friend told me, oh, you've made it to Reddit. We got on r/Superman, but eventually, shortly after that, it got, it got locked and the post has been removed by the moderators. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't want to give me any more attention than I was already getting because they realized, oh, this attention isn't making him hate himself and want to Sudoku. Maybe we should stop giving him attention. But then my friend also told me it made its way onto the DC Universe Daily Twitter. Yeah, Mr. James Gunn cooked me, and I'm really happy I didn't reply to this guy because when I first saw his tweet, I was going to be like, okay, old man, let's get you back to bed. But then I realized this is actually the director of the movie, multi-millionaire director. So I was like, you know what, I'll just let him cook. Everyone's going to have a field day with this. So we'll just let him do his things. And I thought it was pretty funny. So today, we're going to go through some of the best comments or the top comments as rated by Threads. I don't know how this works because these are clearly not the top comments. 14 likes, 1 comment, 2 likes, 30 likes, 5 likes. These are clearly not the top comments, but apparently according to Threads, these are the top comments. And I mean, I've seen some really funny comments in the past couple of days, but apparently according to Reddit, or according to Threads, I keep saying Reddit, according to Threads, these are the best comments. And yes, I do need a shower, I do need a shave, but I'm going to be Rabbit from 8 Mile on you right now and just kind of fire off the ammo that you thought you were going to use in the comments. And yes, I am greasy, I am unshaved, and get over it. So what is this thread that I went viral for? You can see at the top here, it's got 409,000 views, 5.1 thousand likes, 1.5k comments, 40 shares, or 40 reposts, and 43 shares. So it's been going off. Okay, this one, I started laughing because I read the second person's comment, but okay, we'll give this person some attention. So, Janio said, bro got effing smacked by James Gunn and Dan Slott. LMAO, bro, delete this shit, that's embarrassing, lol, 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 lol. And then the other person said, not more embarrassing than the original poster's 2009 MySpace Hot Topic core look. You know what? I am proudly a 33-year-old emo kid, and that is fucking hilarious. My 2009 MySpace Hot Topic core look. I mean, are you supposed to grow out of it at some age? If you do grow out of it, weren't you just a poser to begin with? Maybe you think about that for a second. But here's the post everyone is talking about. The post that made it onto Reddit and Twitter is James Gunn, the director of the new Superman films. He said, I'd considering naming my dog Eartho if I was stranded on another planet and he was the last memory I had of home. I guess I should read my first thread to begin with. I mean, you all can read. You're smart people, right? So I said, Superman's dog being named Crypto is just bad writing. It's like naming your dog Eartho. And from what I've been told, I mean, we're not going to see the comments because Threads has an incapability of bringing the most liked and most commented posts up to the top for some reason, but people have educated me, and apparently Crypto was named by Superman's aunt in the comics, and she named she named Crypto when she was a teenager. So because of that fact, I'm going to double down on this. And at first I was thinking, maybe if she was like a 6 or 7 or 8-year-old girl, like a really young kid, they would name their dog something stupid and unoriginal, because my little sister, I love her very much, but when she was a small child, she named our cat Tinkerbell, hence the Tinkerbell tattoo I have on my forearm here, if you can see it. I don't know if I can, yeah, I can't even rotate my arm that much for you to see it, but I have a Tinkerbell tattoo on my forearm in honor of our cat that passed away. And I just thought, when she named that cat when we were like children, I was like, that is the most unoriginal cat name ever. And I could, if Superman's aunt named this dog when she was a child, I could maybe excuse the unoriginality, because children just are dumb and they can't think of, original cool things. But apparently, from what I've learned from the comments, she named the dog when she was a teenager. You can't think of anything better than Crypto, even though you came from the planet Krypton. You can't think of anything better than that. But apparently, James Gunn says, I'd considering naming my dog Eartho if I was stranded on another planet and he was the last memory I had of home. And then this person, Peacemaker, made that comment a few years ago with Eagly. It was funnier then, yours not so much. I have no clue what they're talking about. Apparently, they're talking about some internet personality named Peacemaker and some comic book character named Eagly or something like that. And there was somebody else in the comments that was just like, wow, I've seen this post so many times before, like, congratulations, you're able to copy and paste. And it's like, first of all, this post, like, do you not realize that people are capable of having the same idea at the same time, like, irregardless of each other? Like, it is possible for two people or more than two people to have the same idea without confiding in one another, without working together. It's just people think about stuff sometimes. People have shower thoughts and then they post them online, and apparently it is impossible for two people to have the same idea. But yeah, as this person said, Peacemaker made this comment a few years ago, so I totally stole that from I totally stole my bad joke from somebody I've never heard about before in my life. Another post being like, you should have deleted this when you had the chance, and they think they're smart for like taking a screenshot of James Gunn reposting this. It's like, brother, do you not realize that when you click on this post, James Gunn's reply is going to be at the very top, because he's verified. That was the other thing. It's like somebody was like, oh my god, you got super ratioed by James Gunn. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Not only is his account verified, he's got the blue check mark, but he's also a millionaire director of the movies. It's like, if anyone was gonna ratio me, it would be him, so it makes perfect sense that the director with a verified check mark would be ratioing me. Like, no shit, Sherlock, thank you for pointing out the obvious. Oh, this one's cute. It's actually Crypto doing a bork. I love this. Oh my god, I saw a couple of these. Imagine naming your kid Stephen Keith. 2 first names, lazy. So these people are just, assuming that my Threads profile and my Instagram profile are my first and last name, which they aren't. Keith is my middle name. My last name, you could find out by, doing some research if you wanted, but Keith is not my last name. It is my middle name. So kudos to you for thinking you're doing a whole one-up and, super owning me for being like, wow, your parents are so dumb for giving you 2 first names. Well, they didn't give me 2 first names. Keith is my middle name, and I choose to go by it because I'm not the biggest fan of my last name. So, wow, super owned. So this is actually a good one. I had to scroll down a bit because this picture of Patrick says a not so friendly R word that I don't really want to have in my video. But this person says, technically it'd be like naming your dog Ert, since the planet is Krypton. So if you just take a letter off, that's how you get there. So I've read this comment probably about like 50 times, 100 times, and I agree. You got me there. If anything, it would be like naming your dog Ert instead of Eartho. But Eartho just kind of rolls off the tongue a lot better. It's very similar to Crypto, so I would go with Eartho, but Ert actually canonically makes more sense. And then there was a lot of comments like this talking about people named Terra, as in like land or earth. And I remember when I was a kid watching Teen Titans, one of the characters that they added in at some point was Terra, and she was kind of like an earthbender of sorts. Terra is different from naming your daughter Eartho, you know? Like, Terra is a cool synonym for Earth. It's not like you're literally naming your kid after the planet. You're naming your kid after a synonym for the planet, which is much more creative. It's much more cool than just naming your kid Eartho. I don't know how people don't realize this is like the exact type of logic I was trying to say in the first place. People naming their pets Terra or their children Terra is not the same as you naming it Eartho. And the fact that you would choose Terra over Eartho, I'm pretty sure you understand what I was going for. I just realized we got this guy here, and he was probably, you know, visible while I was looking at this post, and it's just like, you know what? At this point, I'm just gonna leave this here. I made another post being like, oh, I'm so surprised about the progressiveness of the Threads community because no one has called me gay so far. Unlike the YouTube community where they still think, you know, using homosexuality as a pejorative is somehow okay in 2025. No, it just means you're a dumbass. And that's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, see? More accurately, it's like naming your dog Ert. That makes a lot more sense. Write a book and name your dog different, I guess. This is just a classic. I mean, you're trying to make a joke about something and someone's like, let's see you do some writing. Let's see you write some comic books. It's like, I don't care. I don't care about writing books. I don't care about writing comic books. The whole point was making a joke that this is a dumb name. It doesn't mean I have to write some books to prove them better. No, I'm allowed to make jokes. Get over it. I wish Threads could actually give me like the top comments for some reason instead of just like these randos who have like no likes or reactions whatsoever. But this person kind of said the same thing that a bunch of other people were saying, and that is not to be pedantic, but isn't Crypto technically Kara's dog? And I did mention that. There was a post, maybe I'll put it on screen. Someone was like, well, technically, you know, Superman didn't name the dog, blah, 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 blah. And I did a little looking into it, and I had to edit my post because I'm like, well, you know, it's kind of like my daughter naming her dog Eartho. And then I realized the Superman nerds are going to rake me over the coals for saying daughter. And then I looked it up, and apparently Kara is Superman's aunt. So I edited my post to say aunt, even though like it doesn't make a difference. The point still stands. It's like it's like if your aunt named your dog Eartho, you know? It's like, what is the difference here? Whether Superman named it, whether James Gunn named it, whether Kara or Kara named it, it doesn't matter. It's still an uncreative name. Somebody in the comments was like, oh, so if I have a spotted dog and I name him Spot, is that bad writing or being not creative? And I was like, yes, 100% yes. If your dog is covered in spots and you name him Spot, you are a dumbass. You are not creative at all. Name your dog like Joseph or Excalibur or Reginald or something, you know? Like, you don't have to name your dog based on their appearance or based on the planet they came from. That's just not really being creative at all, which is my whole point here. Oh, this is one I actually liked. You can see I have a little heart here. Crypto is named Crypto because it was all baby Kal-El could call him. Kryptonite is irradiated, so blah, 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 blah. So when I saw this, I'm like, okay, if a baby named the dog, then that makes sense. But in another post, someone was like, she's a teenager that named him. So what is it? Did a baby name him or did a teenager name him? Please, people, please educate me. And someone else being like, we have kids in this world called Gaia and Terra, which is the literal name of our planet. Of Out Planet, by the way. And that's the thing. You're naming your kid Gaia and Terra. You're not naming your kid Eartho, which is my point exactly. How do these people not realize that naming your kid Gaia or Terra is completely different from naming your kid Eartho? What do you not understand here? Gaia is a cool name. Terra is a cool name. The fact that they mean Earth is irrelevant. It's not like you're naming your kid Eartho. You're literally naming your kid something else. Gaia and Terra. Oh my god, mind blown. You figured it out. Yeah, and there's a lot of gifs like this. So the comment section isn't going the way you planned. And it's just like, you know what? I will take all the attention you can give me. Nom 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 nom. Give me all the attention, all the bad attention, all the good attention. Just feed it to me, baby. I will take it. I'm like a plant doing photosynthesis out here, except instead of sunlight, I'm just eating all the attention. Like nom 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 nom. Give me all your attention. And that's why you're not an author of anything relevant. You know what, Spidey Dono? I'm not an author of anything to begin with in the first place. Whether it's relevant or irrelevant, I'm not an author. So, kudos to you. You totally owned me on that one. Telling us you never read comments and are just a movie bandwagoner without telling us. I'm glad I'm not like you. First of all, you got the meme wrong. You don't do a telling us. It's tell us you've never read comics without telling us. If we're going to be pedantic about things, you did the meme wrong, good sir. He's a superhero named Superman from a small village of Smallville who moved to a metropolitan city of Metropolis. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? Okay, you got me there. At the time, 50, 60 years ago when Superman was first written into the comic book universe, I get that writing wasn't, at the same par that it is nowadays. So reading this, I was just like, you know what? This is kind of an eye-opener. He's a superhero named Superman from a small village of Smallville who moved to the metropolitan city of Metropolis. You know what? Fair enough. You got me there. It's not really supposed to be original. It's not really supposed to be creative. It's just supposed to be something you can remember, And that makes total sense. Oh, this one was good. The King of the Hill Khan family, they named their dog Doggy. And that, I completely forgot about this, but this is hilarious. Oh, you can actually see my reply to this one. This person was like, or naming you kid Steven. I guess they were implying that, naming you kid Steven is, completely unoriginal and bad writing, except they completely misspelled yours, so I thought I would give them a little winky face on that one. I guess you've never read a comic book. Wow! Super owned. Oh my god, you got me there. I've never read a comic book. Oh my god, I'm so uncool. I'm so uneducated. Wow, such a big own. And then, yeah, there was a lot of people who kind of chimed in before James Gunn did. James Gunn kind of chimed in a day and a half after I posted this thread. And a lot of people kind of said the same thing he said before he even said it. If your planet was destroyed and you were the last survivor of it, you might name your dog after the planet as an homage to that planet, which I totally agree. James Gunn's comment was completely, where is it? It's over here. His comment it completely made sense, except he said I'd considering instead of I consider, Other than that, it makes perfect sense. If you were the last survivor of a planet, you might just name your dog after that planet as an homage. That makes perfect sense. And then George 3.0 was like, I thought it was short for kryptonite, not gonna lie. And honestly, if it was short for kryptonite, I feel like that would kind of be even dumber. Why would you name your dog after your biggest weakness? Why they didn't call him Steven or Keith is beyond me. Now, I get this person is trying to insult me somehow, but they are they're halfway there, You almost made a joke. You forgot to finish it, It's you started copying someone's homework and you didn't get the last line of it, You're almost there. This is almost a joke. You almost got me. Congratulations. You definitely never touched a comic book in your life, bruh. Laughing emoji, clown emoji. I mean, yeah, I was too busy touching your mom instead of touching comic books, Ba-dum-ts. I like this photo of the people at the party being like, ew, what are you doing? There was another photo of Snoop Dogg or something like that. I forget what it was, but it was hilarious. Oh, this is the guy. He's like, I've seen this same thread word for word several times, but this is Threads, I suppose. I shouldn't be surprised. And I'm like, implying I took this from somewhere else is definitely the most unique take of the day. Seeing how Superman didn't even name the dog from what I've learned, because, after reading so many angry nerd comments, I realized Superman didn't name the dog. I highly doubt you've seen this anywhere word for word. And he's like, I mean, I've seen this exact take from other accounts, including the Superman naming his dog bit, but I admit word for word was said with a little thought on my part, but I've seen this said several times. So basically, you're trying to backtrack, you're trying to take it back without actually taking it back. And I replied again being like, the fact that this is picked up by not only Reddit, but also Twitter, I highly doubt you've seen this posted before, or else Reddit and Twitter would have picked it up previously and ignored my post. So that's what this guy was like, and yet it's been that way longer than you've been alive. ... Get over it. So I was like, okay, Grandpa, let's get you back inside. And he's like, oh, let's get you a pacifier for whining about irrelevant shit. That's the thing. People think like I'm out here with like the guy with the vein popping out of his head, writing this like all super angry, super agitated, being like, oh my god, I can't believe Superman would name his dog this. This is so stupid. Oh my god, I'm so angry about this. It's like, no, dude. Like, I had a thought in the shower that I thought would be a funny joke, and I decided to post it online. Like, I'm not angry about it. I'm not upset. I'm not whining, His name is Superman. What the hell do you want? And there was a comment where I was like, yeah, I guess like naming superheroes blank man has a lot of uses aside from just being original, like it's easy for the public to identify them, it's good for advertising. And then somebody was just like, man, blank man out here catching strays, and I was just like, oh god. Now obviously they were joking, but I was like, they're right, blank man is a real person. I should probably put insert name here, man/woman, Yeah, and then a lot of people were like, no, it's like naming your dog Ert, which, I kind of conceded to. They're kind of right. It's like, if your planet is named Krypton and you name the dog Crypto, and you think about it, if your planet is named Earth, it'd be like naming your dog Ert without the H at the end. If you just minus that last letter, if that's what we're going for, then sure, you're right, I suppose. God, this person put a whole essay about there's no O in Earth or whatever. I'm not even gonna read that. Another person being like, oh, here's that attention you ordered. So many other people made this joke before you. You know what? If so many other people made this joke before me, post a screenshot. Don't just be like, oh, there's 500,000 people before you that said this. You know what? Post a screenshot. I don't even want 500,000 people. Just post the 3 people that made this joke before me. And you know what? I will concede. Maybe I'm not original in this joke, but the fact of the matter is, multiple people can have the same idea without copying it from one another. It's possible for human beings to have the same thought without just taking it from somebody else, It blows my mind that people don't understand this concept. Like, if you have an idea, like, think about the first guy that made like a TV remote or a can opener or something like that, some sort of product that makes your life easier. You don't think other people in different parts of the world had that same idea maybe around the same time, and they just weren't the first ones to patent it? It is possible for multiple people to have the same thoughts. It is like, why is that so hard to understand? Did you read any Superman comic ever? No, I didn't. Full stop. It's not his dog. Watch a movie. Brother, I don't care. I made a funny joke. I literally don't care about whose dog it is or where the name came from. I thought it was a funny joke. The fact that you're getting so riled up about this makes me laugh even more. Should we just name the dog Steven or Keith? Are you implying that Steven or Keith is somehow a bad name? Because I think Steven and Keith are awesome names, and that's why I identify by them. Not to mention the fact that those are the names my parents gave me, and if I wanted to identify by something else, I'd have to, go legally change my name. But yeah, just name the dog Steven or Keith. It would be way better than naming the dog Crypto. Like, it's self-explanatory. My previous dog was named Caleb. That's a fantastic name. He was brown, he was black, he had like an amazing brindle coat. I didn't name him Brindle. I didn't name him Blackie or Brownie. I named him Caleb. We gotta find a good one to end on. There was for some reason, it's not showing like the actual top post for some reason. Like somebody was like, there are people out there named Guy, like G-U-I or G-U-Y. And I was like, you know what? That's actually hilarious. But let's see if we can find, somebody's like, it's no worse than Superman. And you are 100% right. And this person's like, my husband's first dog was named Dog. And you know what? That is kind of funny, actually. If I had a dog, I might name them Kitty Cat. Or if I had a cat, I might name them Dog. And that's kind of funny. It's actually original. It's not like naming your dog Eartho. This iconic character had a cat named Cat, Good for her. It's not like she named her cat Eartho. Some of you are completely missing the point here. Oh, I like this comment. He's like, bad writing, MFR, I know dogs named Meatloaf. which is fantastic. That is a funny, creative name. It's not like naming your dog Eartho. These people don't get the point, and it astounds me. Let's see if we can find a really good one to end this video on, because I've been recording for half an hour at this point, and honestly, this topic is not worth half an hour of your time or my time. Get this shit off my screen and man, it's spraying like a Lysol. Oh my god, this is so good. Get ratioed by James Gunn himself. No shit, Sherlock. He's the director of the movie, not to mention he's verified on this platform. If there was anyone I was gonna get ratioed by, it would be him. Thank you for pointing out the obvious. Gunn played you, sucker, again. Thank you for pointing out the obvious. The man is a millionaire, he's verified, and he's a director. If he didn't ratio me, I would be surprised. Yeah, more of the same. Gunn just burned your ass. Gunn cooked you. It's like, thanks, Captain Obvious. Thanks for pointing out the thing that everyone knew was going to happen in the first place. You know what? I'm sure nobody knew that $1 million director was going to comment on my thread. I didn't know that. I'm just a random dude from Toronto. But, you know, I'm getting more attention than you, so suck it. Oh, this is one of the ones I liked. Hi, I'm Elfo. And apparently there's this character, I think it's from Simpsons based on the animation. It's an elf named Elfo. And someone was like, man, Elfo be catching mad strays for this one. It's just like, I feel bad. This is the Snoop Dogg post I was talking about. Just Snoop Dogg holding up a piece of paper for you to insert your meme here. They'd be chewing you up in the comments. Thank you, Snoop Dogg. Thank you. I needed that. Yeah, you just had to hurt Elfo's feelings, huh? Elfo be like, man, why am I catching strays out here? I like this one. Yeah, another person before James Gunn even chimed in. They're like, then again, if the Earth was destroyed, I would think naming a dog from the planet after the world itself would be a sweet kind of memento. Like, as long as you have your dog, there's still a bit of Earth left to love. This is a great comment, and it's even better than James Gunn's comment because it's actually grammatically correct. Your autism is showing. Oh my god, I think this is the closest we're gonna get to somebody calling me gay, is somebody calling me autistic, and it's just like, you realize this is kind of problematic, right? The fact that you're putting like a pejorative or a negative on autisticness, like, you realize this is kind of equivalent to calling somebody gay for making a joke that you don't like, right? Like, okay, we're getting into the early comments from before I started turning off notifications because my phone was absolutely blowing up. This is one of the people that were like, well, I mean, it's indeed very creative for the people who decide to call a man with superpowers Superman. And I was like, you know what? You're right. You know, back in the 50s and 60s, they probably weren't the smartest. They were probably just like, man with superpowers, Superman. It makes perfect sense. Superman's dog from the planet he lived on, Krypton, we'll call him Crypto. It makes perfect sense. You know what, we found a bunch of the ones that I was reminiscing about and laughing about the last few days. We just had to go and hurt Elfo's feelings. I'm sorry, Elfo. I am truly, truly sorry, and I mean that. And you know what, I don't mean I'm sorry about any of these other nerds in the comments who thought they were, you know, one-upping me or owning me. You wasted your time. You gave me the attention I was asking for. So at the end of the day, I'm the one that wins. Please F off. You are so mad for no reason. Mr. D.W. Wickham, 26175. Don't you have like an accounting job to go to? Why are you on this platform, mister? But all in all, I had a great time the last couple of days. I mean, I had to turn notifications off within like the first 24 hours because my phone would not shut up. And the very next day I was going to a movie with my buddy, and I was like, I cannot have my phone going off constantly during this movie. So I gotta find a way to mute notifications, put my phone on silent, and just kind of pretend like I don't know what's happening. And you know, for the most part, I haven't seen any of these comments until I started going through them right now. So yeah, there you guys go. There's the attention you ordered. I gave you a little review on your awful comments, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is the story of how I went a little bit viral. But let me know what you thought in the comments. Let me know if you think Eartho or Crypto is a bad name for your dog, because apparently these people don't get it. A lot of these people are like, more like Terra, and it's like, yeah, That's not Eartho, that's Terra. Apparently you don't get the point that I'm trying to make. It's a bad point. I stand corrected. You know, Superman didn't name his dog. Sure, hats off to you. Hats off to you for knowing the lore. James Gunn didn't name the dog either, apparently. Superman didn't name the dog. It was the aunt of Superman who named it when she was a kid, but actually she named it when she was a teenager, but actually she named it when she was a baby. So I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, kids are notorious for thinking up dumb names for animals, and that's why I had a cat named Tinkerbell, which is like the most common cat name ever. But you know, loved her to death. God bless her soul. I got a tattoo in remembrance of Tinkerbell. God bless Elfo. God bless Crypto. Thank you for all the attention. And if you want to contact me, do an interview or something, you know, hit me up. We'll make it happen. Until then, I'm still here. I'm still living my life, going through my chores and my daily work day. And, you know, none of this phases me. If anything, I am strengthened by it. I'm feasting on it like a plant does with photosynthesis, you know? Like all this attention, it only makes me bigger and stronger and makes me happier. So thank you for posting your insane comments trying to insult me. Thank you all for your bad comments. I appreciate them. I thrive on them. I gobble them up like sustenance. And I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Love you lots.